House passes spending bill without debt limit increase. I knew they were gonna. I knew they were gonna end up eventually passing this. They all wanted to go home for the Christmas holiday and celebrate with their families. So I know they weren't gonna be all night with it. So they eventually passed the bill, and they happen to do it without raising the debt limit. So we're gonna talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so check me out there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Daily Signal from Bradley Devlin, and he reports that after a tumultuous 48 hours and change, the House has voted in favor of a continuing resolution that funds the government until March. The continuing resolution passed under suspension of the rules, which requires a two-thirds majority of the lower chamber. With the Senate's approval and President Joe Biden's signature, the government shutdown scheduled to kick in at Friday's end will be averted. Beyond keeping the government open until March, the continuing resolution includes $100 billion in disaster aid for damage caused by Hurricane Milton and Helene. It will also provide $30 billion in economic aid for farmers and a one-year extension of the Farm Bill. The package does not address the debt limit that President-elect Donald Trump wanted to raise, punting the issue to the early part of the Trump administration. So now Trump is going to have to deal with that. That's what he didn't want. But Democrats were angered by House Speaker Mike Johnson's inability to get his conference to go with the deal negotiated by Congress leadership. See, that's the thing. That was just the leadership. That wasn't an entire Congress. You got to remember, these people would have been held accountable if they would have voted, if Republicans would have voted for this bill, for that bill, that just crazy bill. When Johnson unveiled the more than 1,500-page deal on Tuesday, conservative opposition, spearheaded by Rep. Chip Roy, quickly tanked the deal, and rightfully so. It was bloated. Like, they had all this pork in there with their pet projects and stuff, which is just ridiculous. Um, Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance announced the original spending bill in a statement Wednesday, saying it, quote, would give sweetheart provisions for government censors and for Liz Cheney. And Democrats were happy to let Johnson and the House GOP squirm for all of Thursday. But on Friday, when the prospect of a shutdown became real, Democrats were forced into getting the funding package across the finish line. Elon Musk praised Johnson's actions in a post on X Friday, writing, quote, the speaker did a good job here given the circumstances. It went from a bill that weighed pounds to a bill that weighed ounces. Ball should now be in the Dem court. The bill now heads to the Senate, which is expected to pass it, and then to President Joe Biden's desk. The White House signaled support for the spending bill in a statement Friday night. It said, quote, while it does not include everything we sought, it includes disaster relief that the president requested for the communities recovering from the storm, eliminates the accelerated pathway to a tax cut for billionaires, and would ensure that the government can continue to operate at full capacity. President Biden supports moving this legislation forward and ensuring that the vital services the government provides for hardworking Americans, from issuing Social Security checks to processing benefits for veterans, can continue, as well as to grant assistance for communities that were impacted by devastating hurricanes. After the vote, Johnson talked in reference to spending bill about, quote, a necessary step to bridge the gap, to put us into that moment where we can put our fingertips on the final decisions on spending for 2025, reported Good Morning America. We also, in this bill, as you know, took care of Americans who desperately needed and deserved the assistance, the speaker continued, adding, quote, We also took care of our farmers, many of whom were on the brink of collapse because of Bidenomics, frankly, because the inflationary costs of their inputs. The Louisiana Republican said Trump was pleased with the final bill. Quote, he knew exactly what we were doing and why, and this is a good outcome for the country. I think he certainly is happy about this outcome as well, he said. So there you have it. It's passed. It passed the House. Senate is going to pass it, and Biden said he's going to sign for it if he haven't done so already by the time of this recording. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. What do you think about the bill? Do you think it's a good bill? Do you think it's still spending too much? Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.